Thanks for joining us. I'm Jonathan Carmody. It's always been a tradition for every senior. Last day of school happens, they plan senior pranks, like the classic ones, like it used to be back then, like being a class clown. Yeah, I think later on we're going to be seeing some classic senior pranks on our special viral break. But first, we're going to look at some senior prank. But first, this top story that just came in just hours ago. A school district bars nearly a quarter of the seniors from graduation after a senior prank that happened. They say that after the prank, they cleaned it all up. The school says they trespassed on private property and created vandalism. So, who's lying and who's telling the truth? Well, after hearing this story, you might want to be asking, after listening to the story, you may have picked the right answer, but after watching the story, you may have to change your answer. Take a look.
Black chairs line the football field at Cotulla High School, ready for graduation Friday. But when the names are called, 20 seniors won't walk across that stage. Some already walked a college stage after earning their associate degrees, but now they're barred from their high school graduation.
This was their only chance to ever walk across the stage.
Cotulla ISD says students entered campus without permission and caused disruption and damage. But students involved call the prank harmless, part of tradition going back 40 years.
Let's go in, toilet paper the trees, how it's been done before, and move from desk around, flip them over, block doors, something funny.
Students say the prank involved flipping desks and chairs, chalk messages, and a few strands of toilet paper in the field house. They insist nothing was broken or stolen.
I told everybody, let's wear masks, because you want to be tricky for administration. Well, that was probably the wrong thing to do.
Students say they cleaned everything the next morning. Now, the students are banned from campus and end-of-year events, including graduation. Seniors pleaded with school board members for a second chance.
And they threw us to the curb.
Students say past senior pranks were far more disruptive, but those classes still walked at graduation.
And most of us are worried because they're scared that the school is going to press charges still.
In a statement, Superintendent Dr. Ramiro Nava says graduation is a privilege, not a right, and says unauthorized entry and vandalism will not be condoned. But for this senior, the 3-day suspension was punishment enough. As of Thursday night, the district had not reversed its decision.
I didn't do almost 13 years of my life in school just to not be able to walk across the high school stage.
If the students don't get to walk tomorrow at graduation, their families are working with a local business to put on a celebration just for them. Reporting in Cotulla, Alicini Alves, Ken Smile.
Now you can create a celebration all you want and say, well, it was just a harmless prank. Let me tell you, you may defend yourself and say, well, it's just a harmless prank, we clean up afterwards. Like that statement said, it is a privilege, not a right. It is a privilege to walk on that stage, not your right. I know a lot of parents are going to be agreeing to me saying, well, I pay my tax dollars for education, and I pay for my son's cap and gown. Even if he's doing senior pranks, he should be honored to be graduating. Well, truth be told, yes. And frankly, I don't care. Who do I side with? In this matter, who do I side with? I side with the school. I basically side with the school on this matter. Why? Because of that statement. And not just because of this statement. Even the parents may even disagree with me saying, well, even the students may look at this and say, hey, you never done a senior prank, so you need to shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're damn right I never done a senior prank, and no, I'm not going to shut the fuck up. I have been a good student for all these years. Never gotten in trouble, never gotten in-school suspension, never gotten detention. Maybe been written up a few times, but I've learned from my mistakes. Y'all need to learn from your mistakes too. And you bet there's comments. Senior prank 2009 was to skip school, no one cared. Was part of Senior 6 back in 2009. Space Mountain Memories. Stupid games get stupid prizes, and that's right. You play stupid games with stupid prizes. You're goddamn right you do. Someone was arrested at 13 for climbing on a high school gym moved to watch the tennis match. No damage was done. Kids went out there all the time. It has consequences. Every senior prank that you do has consequences. Like, I get it's a year-long tradition, but you know, you have to understand that you created vandalism, you trespassed on private property, which goes against section 30.05 of the Texas Penal Code. And it's worse than that. Acts of vandalism at school, on school property, can lead to the district pressing charges. And you may plead with the board saying second chance, but nope, you lost it. You cannot create petitions, do whatever you want, but you're still not going to walk that stage. Simple as that. And speaking of being barred from graduation, coming up, we're going to have a story about an 8th grader who was barred from graduation over this certificate of promotion. And later on, some parents are asking for more answers after a pepper spray incident happened. Plus, a bit later on, a school board with allegations. Please stay with us. Could a single gummy not allow you to walk across that stage at graduation? According to one school we're about to visit, yes to them, yes. Well, you're about to meet the parents who say that it happened. So, the 8th grader stole a gummy. The school says, we get that you're graduating, but we're not going to walk up that stage. Does the punishment fit the crime? Here's Tia Earring. Take a look at this story.
The 8th grader, whom we are not identifying, says another student told her she could have some candy, but after eating it, she felt off and later realized it was an edible. Because of the incident, the school sent her home today with her diploma, saying her plans to walk at graduation tomorrow have gone up in smoke. Her mother says the decision is unfair.
Do y'all know how many grand it was? Do y'all know anything? Because she could have fainted. She could have been in a coma. Anything could have happened. She ain't never did drugs before. She just turned 14. Yesterday when I got from school, she was walking drowsy, dizzy, slobbing. She was high. She was high as a rock. Never seen that ever happen. She was high. People coming out taking photos, going out to eat. People coming from out of town.
Well, this is her daughter's diploma. The family says they already received it after being told not to attend Thursday's 8th grade graduation ceremony. According to the student's mother, Claudia Johnson, school officials at Charles Scott Middle School first called saying her daughter wasn't feeling well on her birthday, then called back about 25 minutes later saying she had been given an edible by another student. Johnson says by the time she arrived Tuesday, it was clear that her daughter was impaired and she was concerned because the teen has a history of seizures. The family says another student later told staff a classmate had allegedly given her the edible, claiming that it was candy. The mother says the student believed to be the ringleader, also an 8th grader, was expelled. Her 8th grader is an honor roll student. She is heartbroken over being barred from graduation ceremonies.
I just felt like a disappointed daughter.
You feel like you're a disappointment to your mom? But you didn't know. I mean, if you didn't know, what's the other option here?
Because I know that this lady, she tried everything for me to make me happy, make me smile. And I was like, I did something I had no business to be doing. Now look at me.
But you didn't know.
But still, like, I still tried it. I still took it, and I had no reason to take it.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that you are graduating with honors and you have been?
I feel excited, but it's like this is my only time I can walk across 8th grade.
Yeah, all of this happening on her 14th birthday. Fox Chicago has reached out to Charles Scott Middle School and also the school district for comment in Hammond, and we are still waiting to hear back. Tia Ewing, Fox Chicago.
So that diploma right there, she got that diploma, but they told her, nope, you can't walk across that stage. I mean, You still got your diploma, but you're not being able to walk that stage. I mean, with history of seizures happening, it's like this. You know, I get that, you know, a lot of people are, you know, getting their diplomas and all that stuff. Like, you know, it's peer pressure. You know, here, you want to smoke a cigarette, you think it's cool? Here, you want a cigarette? I'm against peer pressure. Like, people think that if you do stuff you're not supposed to do, it's going to make you look cool. Smoking doesn't make you look cool. Drinking doesn't make you look cool. It makes things worse. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's the way the game is played. And what we talked about in our very first story, for these guys, they played the stupid game, they won a stupid prize. I get it, you know. You want to try something new, but you know, crap like this happens every now and then. And believe me, I was peer pressured to drink, but every time I said no. If you tell them, no, I do not drink booze, no, I'm not an alcoholic, if you continue to tell them, no, I'm not, if you continue to say, no, I will not drink any booze, if you continue to say that, then they'll understand that, oh, you're not a drinker. You are a partier, but you are not a drinker. But you think, what the hell does that mean? That means that you don't drink booze, but you like to party. I mean, you love to party, but you don't drink booze. If they got water, get some water. They got carbonated beverages, get yourself some carbonated beverages. Simple as that. I mean, yeah, it is that simple, but no one wants to make it this simple. I mean, it's peer pressure that just gets you to do things that you're not supposed to do. If you feel like you're under peer pressure, talk to somebody. They're there to help you, not harm you. Next, some students say they were pepper sprayed in a classroom by a teacher or by an administrator. Now parents are saying they want answers. They've probably already got some answers, but now most of the other parents say they want more answers. We're going to give you the story about that pepper spray incident when we come back. Stay with us. Here's something to think about. Is there ever a time when you know you get suspicious about something and then all of a sudden you want to be the tattletale? And we all heard that nobody likes a tattletale, nobody likes a snitch. What if you saw something and then immediately start telling someone what happened? Well, in this next story, a student used pepper spray in a classroom. That prompted parents to start asking questions. And when the question didn't get answered, the parents went up to get more questions about the incident that happened. Now tonight, in an exclusive interview, you're going to get to hear what one parent had to say about this whole incident, and we'll give you the full story about what happened. Later on, you'll hear about what I stand on this. But first, take a look at this exclusive interview.
A Cumberland County parent says the pepper spray incident happened here at New Century International Middle School.
On April 14th, there was a pepper-based chemical exposure in the classroom.
The parent and their child didn't want to reveal their identity, but the child says it had everyone in the classroom talking.
People were saying they smelled chemical, they smelled something weird. It burned, and I noticed it after school when my dad told me my face was red.
The parent says they did some investigating and decided to send this letter to the Cumberland County School Superintendent the following day. The parent later discovered that a note had been sent to parents regarding the incident. Here you can see it says a student brought pepper spray and passed it to another student who discharged it in the classroom. As a result, several students experienced coughing, irritation, and discomfort. But the parent says, yes, it was sent on the day it happened, but to the 4th and 5th period class. This parent says their child is in the 3rd period.
It's absolutely sickening.
The parent says that 3 days later, a new note was sent to the third period class, and the school admitted, unfortunately, it was mistakenly sent to the fourth period dojo communication system instead. We reached out to Cumberland County Schools, and they told us because this incident involves confidential student information, we cannot comment directly. However, the safety of our students and staff are always our top priority. It's a move this parent isn't happy with.
This was 3 days too late. They should have notified me and other parents so that way we could have had our children medically evaluated.
And the parent says they would like some accountability for this issue, also for any future incidents similar to this one. Of course, we will continue to follow this story. I'm Greg Funderburg reporting live for CBS 17 News.
All right, Greg, thanks.
And let me tell you, here's where I stand on this. I stand on common sense. I have it right here. I have it right here in this hand. It's pepper spray. It is a weapon. A weapon. The only people who are allowed to carry it are the police officers and the security people that work at the schools. But the thing is, I get, you want to show it off to your friends and, pass it along and start spraying people. If it gets to somebody's eye or all this kind of stuff, you know what can happen. You don't know. You may have some pepper spray. You may have got some pepper spray for your birthday or for Christmas or whatever, but you don't know what the harm it can do to somebody. Are we going back to zero tolerance around weapons? We kind of are. And what did they do about the student who bought the pepper spray? Was the bag searched? No, it was probably not searched. If the teacher was concerned, that teacher would have brought in a security official and the principal to say, hey, sir, this student brought pepper spray in, search his bag. They would have searched the bag, brought him in the office, searched his bag, emptied his pockets, and then if he admitted saying, okay, I brought the pepper spray, I passed it to this kid here. I brought the pepper spray, I passed it on this kid, he sprayed. Who would be in more trouble then? The person who brought the pepper spray or the person who sprayed it? If you said both, you're wrong. It'd be the person who brought that item. I'm not all for giving him 45 days in a reformity school or 2-day suspension. I would just give him detention or in-school suspension. He needs to spend more time in school. Out-of-school suspension is more like a paid vacation. What I would do, I would give this kid detention and write an apology letter to all the students saying, hey, I'm sorry for not only bringing the pepper spray, but for spraying everybody. And even apologize to the teacher for disrupting the class. That's what I would do. Not just sitting in detention for like a couple hours or being in school suspension, but write an apology letter to the teacher and say, hey, I'm sorry. I brought the pepper spray, I passed it on to the student sprayed it. I'm sorry for everybody. I changed my answer. It'd be the two of them. The person who sprayed it would receive less punishment, while the person who brought it in brought more punishment. Now, what does that mean by more trouble? It means he broke the rules. He brought the weapon to school. He should be having in-school suspension for 3 or 4 days, while the other person should be received a written warning. For those who are confused about this, look, I'm all for safety and discipline in our schools. What happened to conversation hey, if you bring pepper spray to school, it can really harm somebody and get into somebody's eyes. And all parents care about these days is zero tolerance policies and literacy. But many people don't care. You know, kids just like say want to show off what they got and show off to the kid friend and say like, "Hey, look at what I got for Christmas." Oh, that's cool, man. Look, I want to look. You know, I get it these days. You want to be cool. You want to make some friends. Be careful who you're friends with. Because your friends start telling you things that's going to get you in trouble. Then you may end up being the one getting in trouble yourself, and you may blame one of your friends. Even your friends telling you to stop snitching, you're going to be the one. You will also be the one snitching as well. So what do? I mean, how do we stop this from happening? If we can teach kids about peer pressure or picking friends, you better pick the right friends who will always be there for you. And make sure you know that your friends will not always be there for you. They'll always be there to support you. The thing you gotta understand here is this, you know, I have a lot of friends. Because, you know, I'm really famous all around Flower Bluff and Padre Island. And all around Corpus. The Corpus staple, if you so desire. And they all showed support. If I'm careful around the friends I'm with, they'll always be there for me, no matter what. The thing you gotta understand here is this. If you're concerned about this, because, you know, there wasn't any comments in this section. Not many people were concerned. A lot of parents were concerned, but very little was done. But more needs to get done. I mean, why couldn't they search the back? Why couldn't they question all the students? For that kid who brought that pepper spray with him, detention, and write an apology letter to everybody else. The person that sprayed it, either a written warning or just be giving an after-school detention. The person that brought it in will receive a harsher punishment, while the victim here will get a less harsher punishment. Just because he's the victim. And the person that didn't, who brought it in, may play victim and say, "Oh, well, I was just, you know, because I didn't know it was a weapon." Dumbass. How do you know if it wasn't a weapon if you brought it in? I mean, are we going back to the days to where, you know, we ban stuff that's weapons? Like, and, okay, let me pull something up here. You may remember we talked about this many years ago. You may remember Wendy Scott from many years ago. She had the audacity to ban pencils and pens. This thing was confidential. There we go. This is from newsblaze.com. Show it to you. Wendy Scott in Massachusetts. She had the audacity back in 16 years ago to ban pencils and pens in the classroom. If you read this, you might have said, if you first read this, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, she wants them to type instead of bringing pencils and pencil. Computers were brought in. Nope. Listen to the memo. Students would no longer be allowed to bring writing implements to school. Pencils would be provided for students in class, and any students caught with pencils or pens after November 15th would face disciplinary action for having materials to build weapons. You're serious? You're going to create a weapon, a mass destruction out of this number 2 pencil. I wonder if it's called Project Eraser. It just wasn't. It's not that funny. Like compasses, you can kill somebody with those. Paper cutters. Use a finger in that. I'm a finger. And pop quizzes. Teachers just spring on you like that. You expect it, and bam. It's just, it's just we've lost common sense when it comes to stuff like this. Like, sorry. It's just we've all lost common sense. We've lost it. When it comes to common sense, it's being thrown out the window like nobody cares. Like, do you remember the 91 custodian in North Carolina who was suspended for sexual harassment? Well, calling her teacher cute was not sexual harassment. It was a compliment. Well, how about being arrested for looking at porn? Yeah, remember that story we talked about when the student got arrested for looking at porn? Like, I'm all for suspension, but I'm not all for throwing them in juvie. Suspend the child, give him detention, but don't throw him in jail or in juvie. Doesn't make any sense. Well, how about being arrested for throwing a temper tantrum? 2 incidents. One back 2005 in St. Petersburg, Florida. The 5-year-old girl was handcuffed by police for throwing a tantrum in preschool. I just had to chuckle at this one because it's seriously funny to look at. If you watch that video from 2020, it was funny back then, but it wasn't really funny back. It was funny to you now, but it wasn't funny back then. It's funny because the school lost common sense. It's not funny because, it's harsh to look at. Or how about being arrested for belching? Francisco Negron. Remember Francisco Negron? We talked about this from Classroom Confidential back on 2020. Francisco Negron, when he was 15 when he was on 2020. And when he was 13, he says he was arrested for belching. The school and the police say it was more than that. He was disrupting the class and refused to obey the teacher. For that, he was arrested. And then, when he went to the detention center, they called his mom. After that incident, the family has sued the school and the police. But the Albuquerque police say they only make arrests if the disruption is so bad where the teacher can't teach and students can't learn. In this case right here, are we going back to the school that plays a pipeline or resource officers? We kind of are. But in this case right here, was this child ever charged for bringing weaponry? He probably would have been sent to juvie, or probably would have been sent to detention. No. What I said, no, you might be saying, no, you said he would be in school. Well, yes, I said he would be in school, but, you know, that teacher right there should have called the police on that child, had him searched, and then the school would have worked through the other discipline. Remember the 14-year-old remember that 14-year-old body cam who was suspended for, who was suspended for 3 days, but cut back to 2? He was charged for assault and battery. He was charged for assaulting a teacher. The principal was like, okay, you're suspended for inappropriate use of language and inappropriate physical contact. It was a 2-day suspension, but he was back 2 days later. Suspended on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then back on Thursday. 2 days. It's stuff like this that just doesn't make sense. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. It was 10 years ago that I walked across that stage at Flower Bluff High. I'm special needs, and I was part of that yearbook. I'm not going to have to dig up that yearbook because, I don't want to waste any time. But would you ever imagine as a parent that your special needs child is graduating, you get very excited, you give him some money to get the yearbook, to get him his first yearbook, so you have all the memories he has, and yet all of a sudden you look at the yearbook and go, Craig, why isn't your picture in the yearbook? I don't know, Mom. And so you look at that. Oopsie daisy, downsy wowsy, oopsie daisy, downsy wowsy. You're so pissed. You're pissed off about it. You're like Squidward when you go upsy daisy, downsy wowsy. No, even better. He's an angry elf. You're like Angry Elf, from Elf. You go Angry Elf at the school because about all this. The same happened at Chapel Hill High School. Now the parents say they want change. Take a look.
Chapel Hill High School, 2025-2026. So volume 1, 101. Mm-hmm. So this would mean everybody, right?
That would be wrong, much to Krista Zelt Caraway's surprise and disappointment after she flipped through the pages of her son and daughter's Chapel Hill High School yearbook.
He would be listed in here, but not.
She found no reference.
And that was devastating.
No photos of her autistic children, straight-A student Luke, and Lexi, who's nonverbal, or any of the other more than a dozen special needs students, she says.
It seems like students with disabilities are historically an afterthought.
Her kids came home with the yearbook this past Wednesday, and their mom wasted no time asking for answers, action, and help. Her social media posts getting hundreds of responses.
I went through all the appropriate channels, contacted the yearbook advisor as well as the principal, counselors, and then to higher chain of command to the exceptional children's director, the superintendent, and the board of education, and the response has not really been helpful.
What has the response been?
The first response was almost as if it was just a clerical error and they're blaming it on their systems.
Caraway shared this email with us in which she and a member of the Special Needs Advisory Council, also known as SNAC, received a response today from Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools Exceptional Children Program. The email in the thread from Senior Executive Director Fonda L. Robinson reads, "It is my understanding that steps are being taken to address this serious concern. Upon review of the situation, it was not malicious or an intentional oversight. However, we understand that it was hurtful just the same. With that in mind, we will support all of our schools so that something like this does not occur in the future.
They said, we did make a mistake. Can we offer peel and stick to put in? And I said that would not be acceptable.
And late this afternoon, the district confirmed that they are aware of the parents' concerns and are looking into this Chapel Hill yearbook controversy.
Can you do one more yes or yes? Reach a little higher.
And it was cut off. It's a yearbook controversy that doesn't raise common sense. Here's a story from here's the same story.
All the impacted students here are students with disabilities. Parents tell us that this is about so much more than just a yearbook. They say that the school's efforts to make things right don't go far enough. It was her son's discovery that Krista Caraway could not believe.
He called me around 1:30, 2 o'clock, very upset, and he said, I'm coming home, which is very unlike him. And he said, I'm not in it.
Her two students, Luke and Alexis, sat for senior portraits, paid for a yearbook, but their pictures never made it in. Caraway says the two are students with disabilities. What message do you think that this apparent omission sends to students with disabilities?
That they don't matter. And they don't exist, quite frankly.
Chapel Hill Carborough City School staff say in all, 12 students at Chapel Hill High were unintentionally left out of the yearbook. District officials say the issue stems from gaps in internal checks and not an intentional exclusion of students with disabilities. A spokesperson sent us this statement about how the school is making things right, saying in part this includes professionally updated and bound editions of the yearbook for students who were directly impacted, as well as professionally produced insert pages for any affiliated students who may want them. Is that enough for you?
No, because I think it's more than they think. They've both been excluded in yearbooks in prior years.
Caraway saying this is not a one-off thing. Meanwhile, the district says that they're going to review and address the gaps that led to this. Those include checking student grade levels to ensure accurate rosters and also pulling senior portraits from multiple places that do them. We're told this year there were at least 2 options for students to have portraits taken. What's that? WRL News, live in Chapel Hill.
I think a reprint is a reasonable request for the school, regardless of cost. Hold it for information. This is Amber Heron. This person from 2 hours ago comment on this one. It says if it happened to more than 2 people, it was deliberate. If they issued the books, damage done. The other children would have already gotten their books. They've already gotten their friends to sign them. They've already had a yearbook day. Reissuing books will not compensate for what was taken from them. From that. Well, here's where we raise common sense. Before you publish those yearbooks, you need to double check and see if you missed everything. If you're the school is paying these people to make these yearbooks. What needs to happen is, hey, make sure you double check these yearbooks before you publish them so that we don't miss anything. If the superintendent comes in saying, has there been any misunderstanding at all? Has there been any mistakes? If there's anyone left out, if they say, nope, no one's left out, are we good to go? If they say, yes, you're good to go to publish the yearbook, go right ahead. If they say, no, more needs to get done, you need to make another yearbook. I mean, there was probably a mistake on my yearbook where I took off my glasses. But other than that, everything's okay. I'm special needs. I don't get left out. Special needs always matter. I know it's the end of Autism Awareness Month, but I feel like every month should be Autism Awareness Month because autism matters to everybody on the spectrum. Even if you're special needs, no one should be excluded. You may be special needs, but deep inside, you are still normal, no matter who you are, deep inside. And, for me, everything's going great. For me being on special needs and being who I am, everything's going great for me. I mean, 10-year reunion, it's all great. So, therefore, what we're going to do, what needs to happen here is problem solved. Fix the yearbook, double check it, make it up to parents, make fundraisers, yada, yada, yada. Hope everything resolves. We'll be right back. People may sit there and say that it's the hardest decision that people have ever had to make. This next story you're about to see could even make you wonder if your child could play football this next year. Well, in Philadelphia, the 2026 fall football game was canceled for that year because of the whole hazing incident. Now many people are saying this is harsh. Maybe. Let's take a look.
The cancellation of the 2026 football season stems from a hazing incident involving the football program last year that forced the district to suspend the remainder of the 2025 season. Back in September, roughly 19 students allegedly watched and recorded a student being hazed and assaulted inside the locker room by another student, and nobody did a thing. The district said months ago an investigation found insufficient student supervision in the locker room by the coaching staff and failure to prioritize student safety by the staff, among many other concerns that included a toxic and negative culture within the football program. And now the 2026 season is canceled in its entirety.
So I've been in education now probably a little over 35 years. Bar none, without reservation, toughest decision that I've ever had to make.
Why?
Because we're talking about children.
In a statement sent to parents today, the Cheltenham superintendent, Dr. Brian Shriven, says in part, following the suspension of last year's season, several critical tasks were identified as needing to take place before the program could be resumed. The completion of critical tasks required to reset the program is directly dependent on the findings from both the internal and external investigations currently underway. Until those investigations are concluded and their findings are known, it is not possible to define, develop, or execute the necessary corrective actions. Now, the Cheltenham Township Police Department and Montgomery County Prosecutor's Office have been conducting a criminal investigation. It's unclear tonight where things stand.
The communication went out about 4 o'clock. It's close to 10. I've been in meetings since 5. I've not had a chance to review emails or get any of that feedback. But obviously, I'm very clear that there are people that are upset, concerned with the decision. But it's the only decision that I can make with the information that I currently have.
The superintendent says they were at a deadline, a point with the PIAA, a decision had to be made. And yes, again, it was made to cancel the 2026 football season. In Elkins Park, Jeff Skaversky, Fox 29 News.
And it was a tough decision being made. Why was it a tough decision? Well, because of the hazing incident. I hate hazing. I hate tattoos. I hate Monopoly. I hate when people play stupid games and win stupid prizes. And I hate bullying all in one. If you think this is an excellent incident with a school district, ... I hope criminal charges are brought up if necessary. Praying for the victims to heal and recover. Pretty sure this wasn't the first hazing incident here. The school should be looking into the coaches they hired. The hardest decision an educator ever had to make shouldn't be about sports. Actions and the lack thereof and the consequences that follow. Shouldn't be a hard decision given how many players and coaches did nothing to stop the attack. They used a broomstick. That means no cheerleading either. No games to cheer. Why not ban the ones involved? Why punish kids that had nothing to do with it? It was 3/4 of the team, including coaching staff. 3/4. 3/4 of that team and the coaching staff. If you're part of the 3/4, let me tell you something right here. You 3/4. You 3/4 right there. Let me tell you something, 3/4. It was your fault. Y'all ruined it for everybody else. How did you not, how did one of you 3/4 out there said to that person that had the idea saying, we shouldn't be doing this. We don't want to be banned next year. Sorry. And if he ever says, well, quit your bitching. If that person, if that person had not told the superintendent or principal, came forward and saying, I was part of that, I told this person to stop, and he wouldn't listen, I came here directly to you. It may not change. Here's what will happen. One of those 3/4 students, all the students need to come forward. Come forward and say, yes, we did it. We thought it was a joke. Even though they may be minors, yes. But all the kids have got to come forward. Especially the coaches. So the coaches and those 3/4 of the players have got to come forward. Come forward and say, hey, we did it. And the coaches come forward saying, I wasn't there supervising. I was at my desk eating popcorn. We'll accept any punishment we'll take. Remember that kid from back in years ago who was caught making out in the women's bathroom with a female student? He was in band and she was a female student. They were caught in the bath. The parents are all like saying it was Bryce. Bryce said, no, it wasn't me. Written confession from that female student. Bryce was banned from the band. So, you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. When you choose to behave, I'm gonna let, you know what? I'm tired of saying this. I'm gonna let Dr. Phil say it. And then we're gonna take the last break. There we go.
When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences.
When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. One more time.
When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences.
So choose wisely. When you choose your behavior, you choose the consequences. When you choose to haze at a locker room, you choose the consequences of being banned from football. It's that simple. Just remember, when you choose your behavior, you choose the consequences. It's how games play. There's nothing people can do. Parents get involved. There's nothing people can do. It was your child's stupid decision that made him win a stupid prize. Parents, talk to your kids. Don't act like a fucking dumbass. Be there for your kids no matter what. We're going to take a break. Be right back. Here's a preview we have for you on our Season 9 finale of the broadcast.
It started as a routine traffic stop. It ended in the driver's death.
There's no question that it was fierce, that it was violent.
The cops say they were attacked. The coroner's jury said it was murder.
We're not out for blood, but a man did die.
What really happened that night on Route 51?
At what point in that evening did it stop being standard procedure?
Elizabeth Vargas with a question of force.
A Question of Force. That's one of the stories we're working on coming up on our season finale of Give Me a Break. So, that's all of us Give Me a Break Wednesday going to Friday. We'll see you for our season 9 finale of Give Me a Break Friday. For all of us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break, stop bullying, speak up. Concentration, not strength. No jaywalking. And as always, take care of yourself and each other. Now and then, I'm here for you. Good night. See y'all for our season 9 finale. Gonna have a lot of fun with a shirt and tie.